There we go.
The tones.
Yeah, exactly. So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to our October webinar, which we're going to look at promotion of your tributes to boost income memory. And we're joined today by Jackie Smith from Greenwich and Bexley Hospice, which is really kind. Thank you, Jackie. And also Sharon Moon has can't be with us today, but she's shared her notes. She's from Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis, and I'm going to do this webinar with my colleague here, Jane Russell.
Morning.
And my colleagues Jason and Jackie Parnell are also there in the background to sort of answer questions in the chat and things like that. So sort of keeping an eye on things sort of in the background and making sure nothing goes awry. So thank you and welcome everyone, and thanks for putting all your chats and your weather in the chat box. So what I'm going to do is I'll control the slides. So Jackie, I'm going to hand straight over to you to talk about your experience of promoting your tributes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm Jackie Smith and I work as the In Memory and Legacy fundraiser at Greenwich and Bexley Community Hospice. I've been here for 6 years at the hospice. So do you want to do the next slide? Yep. The first 3 years I worked on our inpatient unit as a healthcare assistant, looking after the patients. The last 3 years I've worked in the fundraising department as the In Memory and Legacy fundraiser. In 2018, whilst I worked on the inpatient unit, my dad became poorly and died on our ward. So I actually have delivered palliative care and I've received palliative care. So I think it kind of gives me a bit of a unique perspective on how it all works. Just because that's a bit sad, I thought I'd had something a little bit brighter in. I actually have a cat and a dog who I love dearly. I also have 2 sons, but that's not quite as interesting as my cat and my dog, to be honest. So if you want to go to the next slide. One thing I would say when promoting tribute funds is the clinical team are your friends. From my time in the clinical side of things, I realised that I didn't know anything about fundraising, anything about tribute funds, which I think before I joined fundraising, I think we used Much Loved for a good couple of years and I'd never heard of it. I didn't know anything about it. When my dad actually died in the ward, thinking I'm a member of staff, I've received the care. I actually collected money for cancer research at my dad's funeral because I didn't even realise that the hospice was a charity. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anybody in the fundraising department. If you think your clinical teams work 12-hour shifts, I used to come in at 7:30 in the morning. I'd be in the ward. I'll be lucky if I get a lunch break before 4 o'clock, and then I'll go at 8 o'clock at night. So I don't really see anybody or know anything about the fundraising. We have leaflets dotted around the hospice. We have a website. I just wouldn't have looked at any of that. So I think it's really your first thing you should try and do is get to know your clinical colleagues and find out how everything works and just let them know who you are and that it's okay to approach you. Because one of the things I had, one of my colleagues on the ward, when I said I was going into fundraising, said, "Oh, are you just going to come onto the ward and ask patients if they can give you money?" Which is kind of the perspective that the clinical team have about fundraisers. They're really scared about letting us near the patients because they think we're going to ask them for money, which we don't. Another thing that I kind of brought to the team was it's really good for you to find out what a typical journey for a patient is. So for our hospice, you know, if somebody is referred by the hospital to the hospice, they will then be given a CNS, which is a clinical nurse specialist who will go and visit them in their home. Before the pandemic, they may have then been referred, if they've still, you know, got quite a while left before they will enter into end of life, they would then be referred to our day hospice, where they could come there weekly. If their symptoms get worse, they can come onto our inpatient unit. A lot of people kind of think if you go to a hospice, you go in on Monday and you die on Wednesday and you're buried on Friday. It's not like that at all. A lot of our patients we have come in and go in for like 2-3 years. we also have physiotherapists here. We also have people that go out in the community, carers to see you in your own home. Now, these are all different people that you can give information to about the tribute funds, because a lot of it, you're not expecting them to go and do the hard sell and tell people about tribute funds. But if you just let them know about them and let them know they're a thing and what they're about, quite often organically a conversation might come up about, like, people would always say to us on the ward, oh, I can't believe this is free. Is there anything we can do? Now, for me, when I worked on the ward and I didn't really understand about it, I would have just thought, what do I immediately need? And I would have said, oh, we quite often need soap or pajamas for patients that don't have family. And then people would bring us that in, and that would be the end of it. I wouldn't take their details. I wouldn't pass that on to fundraising. And that would just be somebody who wants to help and give back. That relationship would have just ended there and then. So if you can just arm your staff with the information, just to let them know that how your hospice is funded, because I had no clue, and let them know what the tribute funds are and how good they are. I found it so interesting when I first saw them, that these patients, I saw them, it's like a tiny, if this is their life, I see them in this last little bit. They were quite often really poorly. They were not out to get out of bed. Lots of time you wouldn't be able to talk to them. Whereas when you look on a tribute fund, you get to see someone in their heyday out partying, which is so lovely for clinical teams to see that, and they really love that. Another thing to find out is what information is sent out. So when a patient first comes into our service, what information does your organisation send out? Do they send out packs that like our packs were very much just, this is the service, somebody will visit you on these days, these are the numbers you can contact. It's always good to put a bit of funding information in there, not asking for money, but just to say, this service is free to you, but it is funded by generous donations made, by members of our community. So I always try to give as much information. That's my main marketing tool, is just giving as much information to as much people as I can. So we can go to the next slide, please. So what we do here, when somebody passes away, they will get a bereavement pack sent to them in the post. So whether that's somebody that dies in the hospice, or if they die in the community or in the hospital or under our care, they will be sent out a medical certificate and a death certificate. So in there, we put our tribute funded leaflets in there. So all of our patients' relatives will receive a leaflet telling them what that's about. We don't market it as a fundraising tool at all. We market it as a bereavement tool. We just kind of say, if you want to do something fun, something to help you remember your loved one, you can put stories on there. I always use the story that you told me at the Much Loved when I come to see you, is that the guy that set it up, his brother died while he was at university. Yeah. And he kind of got to see lots of stories and pictures of his brother that he knew nothing about. So I always kind of tell that story. I always let them know you can put the details of the funeral on there. You can see everything all in one place. If somebody sends money direct, we can add that onto the tribute fund. So you can either send the packs out. We also have people that come into the hospice and ask about it. So if I speak to someone in person, or if somebody asks for tribute envelopes, I will always offer them a tribute page as well. And when you speak to somebody who's just lost someone, you can give them all the information you like, but they won't take it in. So I will always follow up with an email with all of the information in it and with links, so they can just click on to make it easy to go straight to our website to set up a tribute page. Often the person that comes in might not understand how to do it. I'm quite happy to set it up on their behalf. I'm also they can forward that on to another relative who might want to take control. The other thing is, I always champion that the tribute funds are aware of other people keeping in contact. When my dad passed away, my mum doesn't like to talk about it. She doesn't want to kind of remember that he's gone, whereas I like, you know, I'll crowbar my dad into any conversation I can, because I like to talk about him. He was fun. He made me the person I am. So a tribute page is a way that people that want to talk about it can, people that don't have to. Next slide, please. This is the email that I send out. It's a bit long. I don't think you'll be able to read that on there, but you know, it's just talking about the tribute fund and all the benefits of it. And I actually use the line in there, you know, there's no expectation that you'll fundraise. So I don't expect people to use it. And I think when our staff know that we're not expecting people to fundraise, they're always happy to tell people about them. Having said that, of all my tribute funds, I've been here 3 years. I think I've perhaps had maybe 1 or 2 that didn't fundraise. Everybody that does a tribute fund fundraises for us. Generally, with a funeral collection, I will probably, an average funeral collection for us would probably be around £400 or £500, whereas a tribute fund is generally around £1,000. I had one the other day that I think within 2 weeks was £7,000. Some people like to just do a collection. Other people are more sporty. You know, the tribute fund will allow you to do all different, you know, you can do events on there, which could be the funeral, it could be a colour run, it could be anything that can all be linked to there. And the next slide, please. So once the tribute fund has been set up, I always light a candle just to, you know, let them know that we're grateful. I always put sending our sincere condolences, may loving memories of your husband Billy comfort you. I put that there, that's my dad's name. Obviously I'll put the person's name who's died, not my dad's name. I'll send a thank you card in the post if we have their details, and I will send them an email just to say thanks for setting it up, really grateful, if you need any help let me know. I also let them know that we'll let it run for 6 weeks or until kind of people stop donating, and that we'll add offline donations obviously, and then we'll send them a nice little letter or at the end just to give them the total. And then we kind of add them to our Lights of Love list, and we do a rose event now, which is kind of like a summary version of Lights of Love. So I think Christmas is quite sad and people are quite tearful about it, whereas the summer one is more upbeat and stuff. But anybody that does a tribute fund will be added to those lists as well, because obviously with the tribute fund you get all their information and stuff. And that's my presentation.
That's super. Thank you so much, Jackie. I think it was had some really great points in there, and it was really nice to also see your stewardship journey there at the end of what you actually do, because we're asked that so often, you know, what should my journey be? And, you know, it's just really nice to hear from yourselves on what you do, and actually really great that you also highlighted how important the internal promotion is, and that you actually worked at the hospice, you know, within the area and didn't even know what tributes are. And I think that's really, really important for all charities and all organizations to really highlight and promote internally, letting everybody know what a tribute is, showing them examples. It's been really, really good to hear that actually. And also I really liked your point on the bereavement tool, that you actually think of it as it should be. The tribute pages are a bereavement space, and actually when you're highlighting, and it was really lovely when you're highlighting like the photos and the stories and showing what the tribute page meant to the families. It kind of resonated with me with that sort of, you're giving something back to the family rather than it being an ask, and it's much easier to give, I think, than it is to take. So I thought that was really great. So thank you so much for sharing that with everybody. That was really, really good.
No problem.
Jackie, just to jump in, we've got a question from Sarah Knowles, who says, firstly, thank you very much, really interesting. Are people automatically added to your Lights of Love, or asked first?
Well, when they sign up, we ask people if they want to receive marketing and stuff from us. So if they've opted out of receiving marketing, then they wouldn't know. But if they haven't, then yes, they do just automatically get added.
Super, thank you.
Great. Yeah, it's really interesting. And that's just highlighting that actually, I guess with the GDPR marketing ask, when that's implemented, obviously that's presented to all online donors as well, and as well as the Tribute Guardians and things like that, and anybody adding an event on Tribute page. So I guess using that opt-in to be able to promote to your Tribute fund holders and supporters is really good as well.
We only add the fund holders. We don't add the any of the other people
donors
on there.
Yeah, the fund holders. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share Sharon's information. So Sharon Moon is from Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis. She's the individual giving coordinator there, and she shared some information to share with us. So that's really great. So Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis is a small charity. It's less than 10 years old, so rely on income generated through a range of streams. Sharon took on the role of individual giving coordinator around a year and a half ago, having previously been a community fundraiser. The charity signed up to use the Much Loved as a partner in 2020, but hadn't promoted the Tribute site or engaged with the Tribute holders in the early days. Income steadily grew from 2020, and greater engagement and stewardship, as well as fairly low-level promotion on social media via their newsletter. They've really started to see some significant increases. They have links to Much Loved on the website, and a significant number of tributes have been set up using the links, which is really great to see. I'm just going to change the slide, actually. Multitasking here. To highlight internally promoting the Tribute pages, Sharon created a Tribute page purely for the internal promotion. And what they did is they had an internal challenge. And so she asked colleagues to create an event on the Tribute page. So the event that her colleagues were able to set up an event, and they have a very so let me just actually read the notes rather than so their staff took on a community challenge just a few weekends ago and tested out setting up an event page. Members of the team set up individual events linked to the main Tribute page, where everyone could see the running total, which is currently over £6,000. They also had one person fundraising via a Just Giving page, which they tested to upload onto the Much Loved Tribute page, and it obviously worked perfectly. Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis has a very small following on social media compared to a lot of larger charities, but nevertheless has benefited hugely from using Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and occasionally they also use TikTok to promote various Much Loved tools and functionality. They also have found that using the newsletter and e-newsletter linking directly to their community keeps the tributes in the forefront of the minds. Their Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis is supporting people who have terminal conditions, who have a terminal condition, who are very motivated to donate, raise awareness, and fund research. They don't currently have an online funeral collections, but it's definitely something they're looking to do. So on their website, looking to have a funeral collection. Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis did do a short Facebook video, which they've shared with me, but I'm not actually going to show you that now. I'm going to, we'll probably send that out in the recording or add it on afterwards, because I'm really nervous of it. When I flicked off from a presentation before it, it sort of throws the presentation out. So I'll probably pop it into the chat at the end. So that's really kind of Sharon to share that information. But she's also said that on one of the other things they did is that that was on the Tribute pages, but they also this year we have developed deeper into Much Loved, and they actually set up 3 different dedication walls: a Mother's Day page, a Father's Day page, and a Remember This September, which is Pulmonary Fibrosis Awareness Month. They've been really well received, with their latest page generating 98 dedications and almost raising over £500, or raising almost £500. They promoted these pages on their social media channels and also via their website and e-newsletter. And here what I'm showing are 2 promotions they did on Facebook, posted in September. And then the second one, links a story on the Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis website. And what's interesting about this second one, it's the story was shared by a family who posted on the Father's Day page, and they consented to further contact. And they found that this was a really great way of getting further engagement with their supporters and enabling some storytelling. Sharon always thanks her contributors after the event as well. So I think this is a really nice demonstration of actually they had used the consent of people happy to hear from them, and they found that through the Father's Day page and using the different tools of Much Love functionality, that people are really willing to share their story, and they've used them as case studies. So that's some really nice tools and tips on there. Was there any questions on there, Jason, that have come in on the chat box? Or I should.
No questions.
I mean, Sharon's not here to answer them anyway, so I've been making them all up. So yeah, that's great. So looking a bit more about your own promotion, I think it's always really, really clear, and I think it was emphasized when Jackie talked as well, is making sure the www, as we put it, is out there. So making sure people know what a tribute page is. And I think for this, if somebody comes to you, a supporter comes to you and says, oh, I'm doing a funeral collection, talk about this aspect of, highlight this aspect of the tribute page, let them know that these pages exist. If someone's doing a fundraising event in memory of somebody, then highlight this functionality as well, and the other parts of the tribute page as well. So making sure that people know, both your colleagues, really, really important, as well as your supporters know exactly what a tribute page is. Making sure including the tribute offering in your marketing mix. So plant the seed. Your supporters may not be receptive to a tribute page when they're first exposed via marketing, but you've introduced them and it opens up the opportunity to talk about them and later down the line. Make sure you're very clear on what a tribute page is and what it can mean and the benefits, not just to the supporter, which is obviously a beautiful space for them to keep forever, and they can add stories and photos and all the functionality, but actually what it is to the charity as well, and that you're giving them a space back, and actually, sometimes just sharing those that do the fundraising on the pages, explaining what it's meant to the charity, how it's helped you. Making sure that there's a visual demonstration as well. So when talking with colleagues, what is a tribute? Make sure that there's within your partner area, within the reports, there's a tribute activity report. And that is a really nice tool to be able to pick a tribute page that's got lots of lovely photos, lots of candles, lots of stories. If you're talking to the bereavement teams and teams that are on the wards, as Jackie pointed out, that they don't always want to know about the fundraising. So you don't have to pick one with lots and lots of money on it. Pick one with lots of lovely photos and stories. So it really does demonstrate the bereavement aspect of a tribute page. So you can show them a live, so you can show them one of the live pages, or if not, you can always set up a page and test it out for yourself. If it's on a leaflet or any literature that's going out, make sure the sentence is clear and easy. Maybe it's your everlasting online space to remember and cherish the memories of a loved one. Use a sort of word that sort of encapsulates what it is that a tribute page is, and that you're giving them a space to remember. Making sure the second W is where. So where they're going to find a tribute fund. So make sure the navigation is really, really clear on your website. Maybe when you send out literature, you've got a QR code that takes them straight to the tribute fund. So they found the tribute funds on your website. And then you've got this clear description, this what is a tribute and where it is. So here's an example from Diabetes Research and Wellness Foundation's website. They've got a really nice clear bullet point. It's free to set up. They partnered with Much Loved. They can keep your loved one's memories alive and the positive aspects of a tribute page. And then they've got that call to action there, that create a tribute fund button, clearly positioned in a couple of places on the page as well. I really like the sub-branding aspect, and this one here is Helen and Douglas House. When we talk about a tribute page or use the word fund, obviously there's a monetary aspect, but actually you can, as the partnerships, you can sub-brand it. And actually what's lovely is this one by Helen and Douglas House. They actually sub-brand their tribute offering as an online memory box. And I always think that's really lovely. It feels like you're giving a box back to your families and your supporters. And they use some really lovely graphics to demonstrate what can go in the memory box. People can add their photos and stories stories and things like that. So you're really highlighting the benefits and those you know, what a tribute page is. I know that when I often talk to charity partners, I'll often describe it as one of those really lovely umbrellas with all the multiple stripes, and all the different stripe colors are all the functionality of the tribute page, including fundraising, including the voting, including the stories, including the funeral notice, and all the little prongs that come off the umbrella, all the way the users can interact with the page, because different people will want to be interacting with it in different ways. So just making sure that message comes across clearly of what a tribute is, and it's a really beautiful space for people to use and keep. One of the things that, whilst getting ready for the presentation and things, I had a look through a lot of the charities' websites, and actually the online funeral collection wasn't there on lots of people's pages. So that's one thing. I think that's an area where a lot of our charity partners could look into. As Jackie mentioned, when people very, very soon after a bereavement, there's a lot going on in their head, they might not take in lots of information. So you have a separate page that doesn't talk about so many of all the different aspects of a page, because they might be coming to your website purely to collect donations at the time of the funeral. So I think that making sure that you have a clear page that's just there talking about the funeral collection, and talk about an online funeral collection like this one here for St Richard's Hospice. It's very much the supporters coming to make wants to donate. You can tell them it's an online funeral collection. It creates a tribute page, but not too much more information, because you can build that relationship going forwards once they've created the page. So just so you know, the funeral collection page is exactly the same. You'll have the widget or the create URL that goes under a button for supporters to create it. And the difference between this creation and the regular create a tribute is during the process of creating the tribute page, they'll be asked to include the funeral information should they wish. So that could be a map of where the funeral is taking place, any special instructions like wear pink, you know, and they can include additional maps as well of where the wake's taking place and things like that. So they're able to then share that information with their friends and families. And at the bottom of each tribute, there's obviously the sharing links as well, so they can share it on email or on their Facebook and things like that. I think the real benefits of a funeral collection page is it's supporting your families and offering a digital option really early on. Since the pandemic, people are so much more comfortable with donating online. So you're capturing the information and the data from all the online donors. So not just the Tribute Guardian, but all the donors that will be donating to the page. And when a funeral director creates the funeral collection page, it creates a QR code, and they'll often include that on the back of the order of service as well. So making sure your GDPR marketing ask is implemented, this will then be presented to all the online donors. So as a partner, we can implement your GDPR marketing ask, and that's then presented to your supporters. Offering an online funeral notice is another promotional avenue. So this is what I'm thinking is missing on from a lot of charities' websites. By absolutely all means, you know, if you have, you know, just include an online funeral collection as one of the tools on there. It's just giving people the choices. Is giving people an option so soon after a bereavement. So you're giving people this option so soon. The message here needs to be short and clear and to the point. Their minds may be so full with organising a funeral and so much other stuff going on so soon after the death. And as I mentioned, it creates a tribute page and has the additional prompt to include the funeral information with the Google map and things like that. But yes, and from then on, you're kind of building up that relationship really, really early on, and then you can drip feed them with the additional tools and functionality sort of after the funeral and as time goes on as well. I'm now going to hand over to Jackie, who's going to carry on and talk a little bit more about the promotion as well.
Hi everybody, thanks for coming along. So the page you're looking at the moment is the Southmead Hospital charity page. They do a really good job of promoting their tribute funds, really easy to find on their website. And then once you arrive at the in memory page, there's a lovely photo of Hannah with her contact details. And as she said to me, she gets lots of direct inquiries coming to her. So it's nice to have the photo and the contact there so that people feel that they're talking to a person. They can get in touch with Hannah directly, and she can begin to build a relationship with the family and to support them as they create their tributes and hopefully fundraise for the organisation. They also make use of the Funeral Create that Catherine has just shown you, and they do that very well. And if you have time, have a quick look at their website, because they also, on the Funeral Create section, have a lot of information about funeral directors. So they're giving the funeral directors guidance on how they work with the tributes, which I think is really helpful for them. And the next slide, please, Catherine. So I'm going to sum up on all the fabulous information that you were given from Jackie and Catherine. So as Jackie said, the internal audience is super important and just as important as your external audience. So make sure that everyone in the organisation is aware of the Much Love tributes, what they are, what they mean to the families, what they mean to your organisation. Make sure all the different departments know what they are and what they can do, that the event department know that you can add events to them, that your digital marketing team know all about them, perhaps show them a dedication page because they look fantastic on your websites. And also let them know that for Optimum partners, you can make use of your customized references so that you can soft credit the other departments if they make use of the tribute pages. Also, don't forget that Much Love to have our e-learning course. So this is a quick and easy, I think it takes about 15 minutes. It's a quick and easy online course. All are welcome to do. It's a really good starting point for using Much Love and understanding what Much Loved is all about. And it also includes a little bit of information about stewardship. So do feel free to offer that to all your colleagues in the organisation so that they can understand Much Loved and how it is we work. And the next slide, please, Catherine. So your external audience. When someone is coming to your website to donate in memory, you need to make it really clear, really simple and easy for them to find your in-memory offering. So when they arrive at your landing page, do they click on donate? Do they click on get involved? Do they click on fundraising? Maybe you should think about having links on those back to your in-memory page so that they're clearly guided to the in-memory page. Then once they arrive at the in-memory page, make sure there's lots and lots of information on what a tribute is, how you can set one up, how you can share it. Some of our partners choose to add a downloadable tribute fund leaflet so that people can download the information, perhaps take it away, have a look at it, and then come back to you and set up a tribute. Make sure that you are making use of all your Much Loved functionality. Catherine discussed the GDPR ask before. You also can use your alerts, and the alerts are available to both Advantage and Optimum partners, so that you'll know straight away when a tribute has been set up to fundraise for your organisation, be it by a funeral director or someone visiting Much Love, or through the links that you have on your websites. And Christmas is fast approaching. Don't forget that Much Loved will have Christmas candles available. So you could send out some comms to your supporters saying, would you like to light a Christmas candle on your page? So that brings the idea of their tribute fund back to the forefront of their mind again. And the final thing I wanted to say was, perhaps if you have a support section on your email, on your website, you can align your in-memory offering to that, and you can have links to that. So just make sure that all the information is available to anyone, and of course you've got a good contact point for them to get in touch with. And that's it for me, and back to Catherine.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Jane. That's really, really good. And actually I like the ideas of that you included there for those sort of drip feeding, those Christmas candles coming up and things like that, and you making sure that you're using the alert so you don't have to keep opening up the tribute page each time, your partner area all the time to see what activity that's taking place. You know, use the alert functionality, and there can be multiple people within your organization who can get the alert, so it's not all just falling on your shoulders. We've got additional resources that came to mind when we were creating this presentation. Actually, we did a previous webinar where Kate Jenkinson talked about how to proposition your in-memory offering online. It was a really, really fantastic session, and the link to that session, if you want to watch it again, is hidden under that QR code. So by all means, get your phones out and hover over there. If not, it will be on our Much Love support site under the useful resources. There's the pre-recorded Much Love modules that we've done before. And actually, speaking to my colleague Bex in the office, she said to remind you, which is absolutely right, there's lots and lots of information on our charity support site. This charity support site is linked from the Manage tab in your partner area. So when you're in the partner area, there's the Manage button. Underneath there is training and support, and then within here there's a huge load of information, hard copies, downloads, social media copy, wording and images and blogs and things like that under the stewardship and promotion section, and then in the other areas as well. So just making sure that you're using the additional resources. We are here to help. Your account managers are here to help. And also on the Google group too, other charities are really brilliant at sharing their information. So make sure in the charity support site there is the useful information or useful resources, and to join the Google group and share amongst yourselves what's worked, what hasn't worked, and things like that. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. Just so you know, the next Much Love module is taking place on Wednesday, the 23rd of November at 11 a.m. It's about talking to your supporters. I think Jason might pop the link into the chat box. I'm not keeping an eye on the chat box, but if not, again, it's under the useful resources section under Much Love modules. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was we facilitated some of the charities on the Google group last time. We're talking about their in-memory trees. So they have a physical memory tree, and they were talking, there was lots of discussion. So what we did is we facilitated a meeting. So it's like an interactive meeting where you're able to chat to each other. So we facilitated that, and actually it was really well received, and it was great to be able to hear all the different aspects of the trees. But what came out of it is that you'd quite like another one, and one of the suggestions was using digital and social media to spread awareness about in memory. So we're going to facilitate that on Wednesday, the 9th of November at 11 a.m. So it's an interactive meeting, and again, we're going to share that link on the Google group and possibly in the chat box below as well. There'll be loads of links in there soon. And even actually, yeah, some of the other information and links, I'll probably pop it on the Google group as well, because even Sharon at Action for Pulmonary Fibrosis, she shared her leaflet. She shared a lovely social media promotional video on that they shared on Facebook. So I'll try and pop those on there as well. And that's it from us. I'm not sure if there's any questions in the chat box. It's great that you've all been able to attend today, and thank you for joining us. Any questions, Jason?
Just in answer, Jackie Smith is happy to share her materials with you guys. Jackie, it's just because you replied to the host, so not everyone saw your message that you're happy to share. So that's good.
We've got a load of PDFs in the Google group actually, and people have been asking about the Google group. And if you want to join the Google group, just email your account manager and we can add you. But if you, in the search functionality, if you type in leaflet or like tribute fund leaflet or PDF or something like that, you'll find a load. I've also got a load saved on my desktop, which people have kindly said that were allowed to share. So reach out to your account manager and then I can send them however. So
yeah, actually I did that the other day. I was looking for a leaflet and I did exactly what you said, Jason, as I logged into the Google group, the Much Loved Google group, and then I just put leaflet in the search, and actually it brought up all the leaflets which people were really kindly shared. So that's really good. I could actually open the chat box. Is there anything else in there that's a Q&A? Another box. So Beth Murrell, I don't know who our account manager is. Well, we'll get in touch. So is there an email I can contact to find out? So yes, if you email support@muchloved.com, or actually you can see our email addresses on that slide at the moment actually. So if you want to drop me an email, either myself or Jane, and we will, she's just taken over in MEM. So absolutely drop us an email. I can't see which charity, I'm sorry, on there that where you're from. So drop us an email, we'll look into it, and we'll get your account manager to get in touch. Anything else in the chat worth? Let's have a look.
I think that's about it, really.
Brilliant.
Jackie Smith shared with the host and panelists that you have a supporter who donates ad hoc £100 every few months in memory of her son. And over the years, she's donated around £13,000. And she also plays your lottery and buys raffle tickets, and that you've offered her a tribute fund to put all her donations in one place. That's quite special.
Wow, that's really special, isn't it? That's really lovely. How fantastic. Just having a quick look through here now. What is the Google group? So the Google group is open to all our partners, and you're able to join it. And it's a space for you guys to chat with each other about in memory, and you know, you're all of the working within a similar area within the charity. So it's a Google group where, as I say, it's an online sort of forum where you can chat to each other. And as Jason said, it's available. Just email your account manager, or you can go on the Google, on our Much Love training and support site, and the information is down there on how to join as well. I think that looks like it. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time. Any more information, please do get in touch with us. I'm now going to work out how to stop recording.